Hey friends, this is Mrs. Wolfie from Life with the Wolfies, and today I'm making broth. I've been saving scraps for almost a year to make this broth, and I'm really grateful I've been saving scraps because my garden's doing really poorly. Yes, I just went out and watered it, but here we're going to make some nutritious broth out of things that would have otherwise been thrown away. So in this canning pot, you'll see a couple of beans floating. This is my big canning pot. I have 3 gallons of water in here. I'm going to throw in, I don't know, 8 or 10 peppercorns. One bay leaf. Okay, we'll make it 2 because they're small. Ooh, I dropped a couple of peppercorns here. And I don't salt my broth much, so I'm going to say about a tablespoon of coarse pickling salt. Now that's all the seasonings we need. Here's the rest. Now, this is our turkey carcass from last year. Here is a chicken carcass. And I think I have one more in here. Okay, well, so we have chicken carcass and turkey carcass. This is onions, onion skins. And this is onions and celery bottoms and carrot peels. There'll be a lot of onion in this, but that's okay. More onion ends. All of this stuff has been washed. More onion. Now these are carrots that were left over from last year's bounty, and I didn't have room for them in the dehydrator, so I threw them in the freezer. Yes, they were washed. Here are the ends of my beans and some of the beans that were hollow or not very good. They were all washed before I snapped them, so this is beans, and beans make great broth. Put that in there. Oh. Let's see what we're doing here. Shake it down. Now, again, my garden's not doing very well, so I sacrificed a couple of celery plants. This is as big as my celery has gotten. And along with that, we're going to add, this is called wood sorrel. It's high in oxalic acid. It looks like a clover. It looks like a clover, but it has yellow flowers, and that's really good, nourishing stuff. I'm going to put just a tiny, like 2 tablespoons of vinegar in there. Why? This will help pull the minerals out of the bones and the gristle of the chicken and turkey carcasses. Okay, so I just put an extra ½ gallon of water in here. And I've washed my lid. And we're going to turn this on and to maximum and let this come up until it's venting a steady stream of steam. So our canner has been venting a steady stream of steam for 10 minutes. And I'm going to put this weight on. It's a 10-pound weight because I am less than 1,000 feet above sea level. And as soon as that jiggles, I'm going to turn it down a bit and set my timer for 90 minutes. That should get all the flavor and nutrients out of everything. Okay, so we had to let this cool overnight, and it's still warm to the touch, but it's no longer hot. Oh, and look at that broth.
We are going to now strain this. And I'm telling you, the smell of this has been amazing. Now I'm going to let this portion drain, because I'm going to have to dump this before I pour more in. So then we'll complete the straining, and I'm telling you, this broth smells so good and so rich with all that onion and stuff. So I'm just going to set the lid back on top of the canner for now. And we're going to let that drain while I prep my jars and my canner. Here's our canner. It has cold water in the bottom because my broth is cold. Well, it's not cold, but it's not warm either. Here's our broth. Look at how beautiful and rich that is. There's all my jars. I've got 18 of them because that's what will fit in my canner. Washed and rinsed. I got my lids washed and in hot water. We don't need to add anything. This is one of the easiest things to can because it's just liquid, okay? Now, this is a 2-cup measure. Let's get you so you can see a little bit better. There we go. And I'm just going to take my broth. Now, I almost forgot my always. Clean damp paper towel. I decided to can this in pints, not quarts, because if I need a quart, I'll just use 2, but more often than not, I'm filling this up to 1/2 inch from the top, but more often than not, I think that's a little too much, 1 inch from the top. More often than not, I only need a pint. Like when I'm making goulash, I'll put a pint of this in with the tomatoes. Look how rich that beautiful broth is. Into the canner that goes. And then it's just rinse and repeat. Okay, so I have 19 pints of the turkey chicken vegetable broth. And I could have had 20 pints, but I saved this because we're having chicken and rice tonight. And this is all cold start, okay? So on goes our canner lid. And we're going to set this at high. Make sure that's cleaned off. We're going to set this on high. And when this comes up to a steady stream of steam, we'll set our timer for 10 minutes. We're spouting a steady stream of steam, so I'm setting my timer for 10 minutes. You have to vent your canner for 10 minutes or your canner won't have the proper pressure to properly can your food. Now our timer has gone off, and I'm going to put a 10-pound weight on here. And as soon as that jiggles and this comes up to 10 pounds, we're going to set our timer for 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes for pints, 25 minutes for quarts. Now folks, if you live 1,000 feet or more above sea level, your weights and processing times may be different from mine. So please check your manufacturer's directions, okay? All right, our weight is jiggling and our gauge is at 10 pounds pressure. So I'm just going to just turn it down a tiny bit, and I'm going to set my timer. It's 20 minutes for pints, 25 minutes for quarts, and that is for all broths, meat or veg. We'll be back. This is
what we're going to have. I'm going to make chicken rice tonight. You've seen me make it before, but this is the only store-bought vegetables. These are picking from the garden. Unfortunately, there's not a lot. The weather's been nuts. And because Daddy hates zucchini, I'm going to chop it up pretty fine. Now I'm going to set my oven at 375. Big chunks of onions so that Gracie doesn't get any. The fresh vegetables will give off a lot of juice, especially the zucchini. Here we go. Look at that. And just to add a little bit of fiber and to soak up some juice, I'm just going to put in about, I don't know, whoops, making a mess. A half a cup of dried cabbage. I'm going to rinse these. Yes, the cabbage is going to get rinsed too. There, now that's ready to go in our dinner. Here's our Dutch oven. There's our timer for our oven. I'm going to add a little bit of avocado oil. We're going to cook our chicken for 40 minutes. 30 if it's completely thawed. This isn't completely thawed. I'm going to spread the oil around with the chicken legs. If it's, you see it's green, that's because the avocado oil is cold pressed skin and all. Garlic. Salt. And pepper. This is going in the oven at 375 and I'm setting the timer for 40 minutes. I'm going to do 1 cup of rice. I'm going to rinse this and then we'll be all ready when the chicken is partially cooked. Okay, the canner has depressurized. Everything's still very hot, but all the pressure dropped and I was able to take the lid off. And now we're just going to use our jar grippers here. Look at this gorgeous broth. Look at that beautiful broth. Now there is 18 pints of delicious, nutrient-rich broth from scraps that I've just been keeping in my freezer all winter and spring. Let's get on to supper. I want the chicken to be almost cooked, but not quite. Pop those. 4 jars always pops. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my chicken and I'm just putting it in the lid, which I haven't used yet. Now look at all this wonderful juice in the bottom of this. Now we're just going to put, I'm actually going to turn this on to maximum, even though this is going to sizzle when I put this in. I've got the rice all there. We got our vegetables all there. And now we're going to put our 2 cups of broth in. And you know what? I'm going to throw in a handful of dehydrated corn because I honestly don't think, I put too much liquid in here. So you get used to how this works once you start working with dehydrated and fresh vegetables, because you get an idea about how much of the liquid the vegetables are going to put off, right? And then we put our chicken back in on top of all that veg and back into the oven covered. This goes for another 30 minutes. Okay, supper is out of the oven.
Doesn't that look pretty? Look at that. Oh yeah. Look at that. That needs no other seasoning than a bit of salt and pepper. And I made extra rice in case we have like a stir fry later in the week. Now, like I said, I only put a tablespoon of salt in all of that broth, so because I season after the fact. So let's take that to Papa. Is chicken and rice with the zucchini and the beans we picked, and of course an onion, and the broth that I made from all those turkey, chicken, and vegetable scraps from last year.
Cabbage?
Oh yes, and a little bit of dehydrated cabbage, sorry. And there might be a little bit of corn and sweet corn in there too. Oh, I gotta get you your dips.
I was gonna say, no dibs.
Yeah, you'll get your ketchup. Blow on it for her.
Ooh, that's hot.
Blow on it for her. She's waiting very patiently.
It's really hot, Grace. I don't know if you want it.
We'll peel a piece off and see. Yum. Thank you. Thumbs up for both of you.
Thumbs up.
There you go. This is Mrs. Wolfe from Life with the Wolfies. And that was making the quarter squeak 20 cents. Because we just gleaned from the garden. Even though our beans are doing really bad, we gleaned from the garden. We got a zucchini, we got some beans. And I made broth out of scraps. Never let a scrap go to waste. Glean what you can from your garden, even later in the season. And always save your scraps for broth. Take care, God bless.